to like break down in front of her too much, but I mean, she sees me like driving back from Albany and like, you know, obviously. So it all kind of started when we went to the pediatricians, and Ronan's eyesight was pretty off. They were just really confused because she couldn't see anything out of her right eye. Even the big, huge letters on the wall, like close up, like 3 feet away, she couldn't read those with her right eye. So then we went to pediatric optometrist. Specialist was totally stumped, and she referred us to a pediatric neurologist. She had Rhonan get an MRI. A mass showed up during the MRI, and I, like, you know, I was, you know, you never really prepare for the worst. You know, you kind of do, but you don't really. But that's when the neurologist referred us to Albany Med to meet with Dr. Weintraub on the Melodies floor. We also met with the brain surgeon because she had to have a brain biopsy. The diagnosis is actually, it's a rare optic brain tumor is what she has. It's right where her optic nerves cross. So that's why she couldn't see out of her right eye, was because the tumor actually affected so much of her optic nerve for her right eye. I had planned for Ronan's 16th birthday to go to Orlando, just mother-daughter trip for like 3 days. She was diagnosed 2 days before we left for Orlando. That was literally like our last normal anything, because as soon as we got back, she had brain surgery. Everything kicked into high gear, and it was like a tornado after that. It was pretty crazy. So she had her brain surgery, and that was absolutely insane. I didn't even know like how to prepare for that. They cut from the middle of her head, like just where the hair, just a little bit, so she could still, you know, so she could hide her scar. So like from here all the way down to where her ear is, so like 40 stitches. So she was in ICU, recovering, pediatric ICU in Albany Med for like 3-4 days or so. They said radiation was gonna be proton therapy in either New York City or in Boston. She loved New York City, so I was like, okay. Every Monday morning, drive to Albany to the train station. On the train, we went from Albany to Penn Station. It just became so routine. We just had our luggage. I'm like, all right, to Skylight Diner. And they were so nice, like every time. And it was, I don't know, it was just like, it was our routine. When she found out we were going to spend all summer in New York City, she's like, ooh, radiation vacation. And I'm like, I just can't. They're like, we like her. So we take an Uber to radiation. She would get her radiation done. That was like 20 minutes or so. We would go check into our Airbnb. And I had to be very strict about it. Couldn't have too many stairs, had to, you know, safe elevators. We were there all week, and then Friday we would check out of the Airbnb, go get radiation done, had our luggage, Uber back to Penn Station, go from Penn Station to Albany, drive from Albany to Saratoga, just so I can change into my work clothes and go straight to work. Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. So that lasted for about 7 weeks or so. We had to wait 2 months to get a follow-up MRI so we could see where the tumor was at, because proton therapy is apparently a slow release kind of therapy, radiation. So we went back to Dr. Weintraub's. We got the MRI set up. Dr. Weintraub called back, and the tumor actually grew twice, 2 to 3 times the size it was before radiation. And it was growing backwards towards the brain. And she's like, so now we're thinking chemo. And I'm like, thinking? She's like, now we're doing chemo. She had the port installed 2 days before Christmas. They also said that she's not going to grow anymore because it is also affecting her pituitary gland. So now she's stuck at 4'11" forever. Yep, she's not going to get any bigger. She's got these cute little tiny hands. I'm like, aw, you were supposed to grow, I think. So she had a blood transfusion a couple weeks ago. She started to feel really good after that, though. So she had a few weeks, she had like 2 or 3 weeks off from radiation. So she was feeling like, she was feeling good. And she had chemo yesterday, and, you know, up since 3 or 4 or so. Her going through the chemo is just like, it's a nightmare. She was, you know, stomach problems. She can't eat anymore. She's lost, like, she's at like 100 pounds now. which is like really sad and scary. Like she was at 120. She's lost like 20 pounds in the past like 3 or 4 months. She was so excited. I made mac salad the other night for the first time in like 2 years because I wasn't here last summer to cook at all. So she's like, I haven't had mac salad in 2 years, and I'm like, oh, I'm making it. And we cleaned the grill out and had hot dogs and hamburgers on the grill, and that was our first day eating outside. She was so pale before, even just like sitting outside for like an hour. I could tell. I was like, oh my God, your cheeks are pink, you know? It's like, so you notice the small things here and there. Right after chemo started, when Rhonan got really sick, I was talking to Mary Beth, the liaison at Melody Center, and she is fantastic. She has been more help than like anything. She's like, I cannot express how badly you need to fill this out. She's like, here's the form. She's like, get it back to me. They'll get back to you immediately. Jeff's really good. He'll be able to get back to you. So he texted me right away, like called. I had, basically the same conversation that I'm having right now with him on the phone. A really great guy. He's so nice. He's like, well, what do you need? Like, they're able to help me with, paying the rent and stuff. It was when she had decided to shave her head. She was like, I'm ready. She had like 10% of her hair left. Amy Brower. I've been friends with her for probably about 10 years now, and she is absolutely great. And I'm like, Rhonan needs to get her head shaved. And like, she's really like put her heart into this, and I don't want to turn back now. I don't want to backtrack because she really needs to do this. She's like, I've already gone through 2 girls that were getting chemo. She's been on the hair journey, she calls it. So she shaved her head for her and left probably about like that much. Rhonan had a vision, and Rhonan really likes dark hair. She had an extra bottle of black hair dye, and it was the semi-permanent that doesn't have the ammonia in it, so she dyed her hair for her too. Gave her a big hug, and she's like, I'm going through this with you now too. She's like, I'm your girl from now on, so we're gonna get through this. That boosted her confidence, and I sent you the picture for that. That was like, you could see the look in her face. She was so happy. She was like proud, she was beaming, she was glowing, and I was like, she was like smiling, and I was like, yay! Because she was like, I just want to feel beautiful again. And that's what I texted Amy, and Amy's like, oh my God. She's like, don't worry, I got you guys. She's excited though. She's like, my hair's going to grow back thicker and prettier and healthier. For a 16, 17-year-old girl to, acceptance, that's huge. Like, the acceptance is really huge lately for us anyways. Like, just accepting things. This is what life is going to throw at you, and she has grown so much, mentally and emotionally in the past year. Like, there's not like any one moment that I can like really pinpoint other than like getting her head shaved, because she's been like, she's getting through this.